Good morning. The rape charges against ANC MP Eric Kolwane have been withdrawn in the Wynberg Magistrates Court in Cape Town. Kolwane, who is the Communications Portfolio Committee chairperson, was accused of raping a 26-year-old woman at his home in the city. He says he has been vindicated.
The charges were withdrawn because the prosecutions, after consultation with NPA, they come to a conclusion that they have no case against me. I must first thank everyone who have been with me. I must also thank my family, my colleagues, my comrades, and also the party.
ANC Youth League Deputy President Ronald Lamola says a rainbow nation built on the foundations of the current racially based inequalities is only cosmetic. Lamola was addressing Wits University students in Johannesburg last night. He lamented that glaring racial inequalities continue to manifest in the form of access to wealth, land, healthcare and education. Lamola says a true rainbow nation will be built through economic redistribution, which includes placing ownership of minerals in the hands of the people.
Those who have got money have got color. The ruling class of South Africa are the white South African citizens. And those who do not have are defined in terms of color, and in terms of their relations to the means of productions are those who are black and who were previously marginalized by apartheid. We have said the only thing that is going to unite South Africans is the economy. Nothing else. We will not be united by sports. We will not be brought together by 80 minutes of a Rugby World Cup.
Nobel Literature Laureate and veteran anti-apartheid activist Nadine Gordimer has warned South Africans not to allow government's Protection of State Information Bill to become law. The National Assembly passed the so-called Secrecy Bill last year, but the National Council of Provinces must still debate it. Gordimer says she totally opposes the bill because it's designed to cover up corruption and remove freedom of speech.
It's a threat to all of us, and I will continue fighting it. It's very worrying that it gets postponed and postponed. I think with the hope that we will get weary of campaigning and while our back's turned, it will go through. We mustn't let that happen. Corruption, I'm afraid, is rife in our country.
U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton departs this week on a trip that will take her to Africa's newest nations, South Sudan and South Africa, to visit former President Nelson Mandela. While Clinton's public focus will be on Africa's democratic achievements and economic potential, the trip also underscores U.S. security ties in the face of an array of growing threats, from Islamist extremists to narcotics cartels. Clinton's trip begins in Senegal, and further stops include Uganda, Kenya, Malawi, and South Africa. She's expected to highlight U.S. programs on development, education and HIV/AIDS. She will also likely emphasize projects for women and girls, one of her central themes in a job she says she will leave in January, even if President Barack Obama is elected to a second term. The stream of refugees out of Aleppo, where the Syrian army has been battling rebels for a third consecutive day, is heightening international concern. Those arriving in neighboring Turkey speak of incessant shelling. In New York, UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon had this to say.
The Joint Special Envoy and I are deeply concerned about the situation in Aleppo. Violence there has already caused large numbers of civilians to flee their homes. I'm extremely concerned by the impact of shelling and use of other heavy weapons on civilians in Aleppo and other locations in Syria.